In the quiet village of Maduku, in Benue State, there stood a fast-growing church led by a charming young pastor named Pastor Maleki. He spoke with fire, prayed with passion, and performed miracles that mesmerized the entire community. But unknown to many, Pastor Maleki carried a dark secret. Women in the church, especially married women, came to him with their problems, failing businesses, broken marriages, sickness, or childlessness. He would invite them for special prayers, promising that God would restore everything they had lost. But instead of praying for them, he prayed against them. Pastor Maleki had discovered an ancient ritual that allowed him to steal destinies. Each time he touched a woman's head in prayer, he siphoned a piece of her blessing, her favor, her opportunities, her joy, and locked it inside a hidden god under his altar. One by one, the women in his church lost their progress. Homes broke. Businesses collapsed. Some fell mysteriously sick. Yet Pastor Maleki grew wealthier, more powerful, and more feared. Everything continued in darkness. Until Faith came. Faith was a strong and discerning married woman who had always trusted God deeply. When her business suddenly began to fail and her home filled with arguments, she visited Pastor Maleki for help, just like the others. But something felt wrong. During his prayer, Faith felt a cold shiver travel down her spine, as though something was being pulled away from her spirit. That night, Faith had a dream. She saw Pastor Maleki standing over a giant god filled with glowing lights, each one flickering like a trapped soul. She recognized the voices of the women in her church, crying for help. And at the center of the god, she saw her own light, dim and fading. Faith woke up trembling. Determined, she returned to the church at dawn. She hid behind the altar, waiting. When Pastor Maleki entered, she confronted him boldly.
Pastor, what have you done to the women of this church?
Pastor Maleki's face twisted with anger and fear.
Leave here now, Faith. You have seen too much.
But Faith stood firm.
I reclaim what you stole in the name of the one who sees all things.
A wind began to roar through the church. The altar shook. The god under it glowed brightly, cracking open. The voices of the stolen destinies filled the room, crying, whispering, calling Faith's name. Then, with a sound like thunder, the god shattered. Light shot out in every direction, rushing back into the women who had lost their blessings. Businesses revived. Homes healed. Marriages were restored. And Pastor Maleki fell to the ground, powerless. The people gathered around as Faith lifted her hands in gratitude. From that day, Pastor Maleki was stripped of his influence, and the church learned a powerful lesson. Not every miracle comes from the light. Not every pastor carries truth. Some wear holiness like clothing, but inside, carry empty shadows. But Faith's courage became a legend, a reminder that evil may hide in robes and pulpits, but truth always finds a way to shine.
Please subscribe, like this video, share, and comment so our community will grow.